So getting into Heartbroken Kid's second matchup of the day, I think this is a perfect time to mention that in draft, we allow TMing between rounds. So this gives Mew a lot of flexibility. It gives it a lot of value as a pick. So I'm curious to see what Heartbroken Kid's Mew will be running in this game. Could be a combination of Surf or Ice Beam. Maybe you want to move for the specifically for like the Jirachi and the Primarina. Ice Beam does look good, covers the Groudon and the Dragonite, whereas maybe you want something for... You could go with like a Wild Charge, would hit the Jirachi pretty hard, do a lot of damage to Primarina, which is quite squishy. That does give you a losing matchup against Kyurem, but he might be okay with that, depending. Double Dragon could be pretty dangerous here. Especially if Heartbroken Kid doesn't bring Grand Bull, which seems somewhat risky as it is a double steel team, and it has less HP than Primarina, so Primarina can charm through Grand Bull. But on Heartbroken Kid's side, I do like, of course, Dialga. Gonna bring Dialga every single game. It looks great against everything except for Registeel, not quite as good, although Registeel stat product isn't as dominating as it is in Ultra League. The Landorus looks quite good to me as well. Landorus has great play against the whole team, can certainly do a lot of damage to everything. The Mew could be a very good safe swap. I don't quite like even though this is a double Dragon team with Ground, I don't quite like the Avalugg as much. I mean, there is a Primarina and 2 Steels. Raikou, I don't think is going to come at all. You don't really need it, and Grand Bull could be a really good option just for deterring the Steels. Showing it early could scare Anne off of bringing double Dragon Strat too many times. So let's just take a look and see how they decide to play it out. Okay, we see Avalugg into Registeel. This is not great. Gonna safe swap. Mew is running the Wild Charge Ice Beam. How did I know? Gonna wait to throw until, wait to debuff until after it gets hit by the Zap Cannon, which is a little annoying because now your attack is debuffed. But it's not like 2 of these would have KO'd anyway. Registeel is quite thick, and this is non-stab neutral damage from Mew. Revealing the Wild Charge fairly early. I think you can definitely get to another move here as the Registeel. So could make the decision to shield this up. If you think, honestly, this isn't terrible, could come in and farm this down now with either Dialga or Avalugg. Okay, I like this. Gonna be able to farm this down. Gonna have to shield... wants to take the Focus Blast, presumably, on the tankier Pokemon, which makes sense. Gonna come in with Groudon. Okay, so this team is very weak to Avalugg. Probably one of the dragons in the back if they're gonna come in with this. And this is their best option. Gonna bait with the Body Slam, which I'm gonna guess this gets shielded because they probably have Dragonite in the back and do not want the Avalugg on it. Could let this go here, could shield. If you shield, you have to do more Ice Fang damage and you'll be able to Dragon Breath this thing down. Gonna be able to Dragon Breath down anyway. Gonna shield the bait, that's totally fine though. And it's Primarina. Now, Primarina wins zeros if you throw Iron Head. Which I don't know if TheIncredibleAN knows that, or if they're even expecting Thunder. Thunder, of course, will allow you to win this matchup. Iron Head being neutral, this is going to KO, for sure. Groudon's going to come back out. Gets to a move, though, with the Fire Punch spam. I think probably it was a mistake to catch, actually, on the Avalugg. It was probably better to just one shield farm all the way down and harass the Groudon. Maybe switch to the Avalugg to pull out the Primarina and try and farm down. But either way, we're going to go into Mew with Primarina. Could Wild Charge and Bail, but I think probably better to just stack. Don't want to stack right on the back-to-back. And gonna go for the Ice Beam bait, which I don't quite like. I think you live this Wild Charge as Prima. Could let it go. Groudon's going to come back out. It probably would have been helpful to Ice Beam first, but he's not running Superpower. He's going to go... He has double nuke. So this Earthquake makes this matchup This Earthquake makes this matchup a lot more favorable, but gets clocked by the Fire Blast. Groudon electing not to run Earthquake specifically for this matchup. I think you let this go, for sure. Let this go. Could farm down with Mew. I like that because this will allow you to. You're gonna let you live Fire Punch easily. This will allow you to nuke and bail if you need to. Could have let that go, but I guess wants to for sure be able to get to back to back. Not gonna choosing not to throw at this. This is kind of awkward. Obviously, they want them to no shield the Dragon Claw so they can apply pressure with the Primarina, which makes a lot of sense. I expect this to be like a one shield charm down now from IncredibleAN's side. Goes for the Psychic, shielded up. Gonna shield up this Iron Head for sure. Gonna let the Iron Head really, but you could just force the Mew to debuff. Okay, that's fine. Gonna be able to, this Ice Beam will not KO. Definitely can let this go. Go for the Dragon Breath down. I think it was probably more straightforward to preserve all that health on Primarina and force the Mew to Wild Charge the Primarina. It definitely seems like it's fine. Either way is fine. And could have just Dragon Breath down there. But it's all good, you know? IncredibleAN has a complete handle on this. Gonna take game 2. We'll see how HeartbrokenKid decides to respond. This has been a bit... Mew hasn't been quite as impressive. I mean, it's not having the stab on these moves doesn't allow it to do as much damage as you would hope, unfortunately. And it does get outstat prodded by a number of these mons. So as great as a safe swap, or even like a lead as it is, or as it seemingly should be, it's gonna struggle in some of these matchups. But yeah, let's take a look at game 3. At some point in time. There's no particular rush though, you know, whenever we get to it, it's fine. Kyurem into Dialga. If they're weak to Dialga in the back, they might stay. Okay, they don't. They go into their best Dialga counter. Heartbroken knows that they have Fire Blast now. I mean, you live it, so you don't necessarily have to shield, and they get baited, which I think is probably the most unfortunate outcome from this. I think you no shield, knowing that you can live, and definitely get to this Earthquake. But now, I think, you know, it probably is worth it to double shield. If they do go for the Fire Blast now, yeah, you can just Mud Shot down, and come out with a lot of energy. This Fire Punch, just a little bit of chip, but you're pretty loaded. And the Kyurem can't really come back into this comfortably. Gonna have to shield for 2 Stone Edges. And the Kyurem is coming back out, so they're gonna sack. They're gonna sack this here. Or they're not gonna sack this here, okay? I mean, you live the Stone Edge. Could let it go. If it's a Charmer in the back, you could just save 2 shields. Okay. They're staying, so they want to get the move. Okay, so they want to nuke it. And as far as I can tell, there's no reason to run Blizzard, so it's definitely going to be the Draco, and it is. This is going to be a little bit tricky, though, so now you're debuffed. You want to get out of this. And you want to put pressure on this Mew to throw Wild Charge, because in doing so, you're going to have a debuff. The problem is the Kyurem, obviously staying into Draco, the Dialga, put itself quite low, so this Ice Beam plus Shadow Claws will be enough to take it out. Yeah, it's just enough straight up at that point in time. So that was a bit tricky for Ann. Good comeback from Heartbreaker. You know, being able to put Ann in difficult positions and, you know, efficiently maximize energy, especially with that farm down of the Groudon. I think 2 shielding was the right play there after being baited initially. So we'll see. You know, this is a 2-1 Ann right now. HeartbrokenKid has a chance to tie it up, or Ann could pull away with the whole thing right here. Let's see how they adjust. At some point. No rush. Again, you know, we're all just here for the ride, you know, and whenever we get to the battles, we get to them. And I certainly, you know, I for one don't mind watching Heartbroken's moves, you know. Look at that pose, very stylish. And electing for the no legend pose. And I know she's been legend before, so just a very under the radar look. We've got Lando into Groudon in the final matchup. So this is pretty favorable for Lando. Don't have to shield the Fire Blast. Hopefully we don't get baited here. Gonna go for the Earthquake right away, which they shield because they know that, you know, they don't really have a bait. I mean, you could bait Stone Edge. That seems a little... I mean, you know, Groudon does live it. It's a little risky. Gonna go for the Fire Punch bait, though, which is definitely annoying. Mew is tankier than Landorus, so taking this here makes sense if they actually do go for the move. Okay, so gonna go with Registeel, which I don't hate, because Registeel doesn't have to shield anything that this Mew throws, and can keep debuffing. Easily going to be able to take 2 of these wild charges. One problem to note here is that the Landorus doesn't have to shield anything from the Registeel, so, you know, after this Mew goes down, assuming that Heartbroken Kid lets the Mew go down, Landorus is going to be able to farm the Registeel, which is a little bit unpleasant. Gonna get to the 3rd wild charge. Gonna have to let this go. I think the Registeel is not very useful at this point in time. Okay, comes back in, wanted to farm down with Groudon. Heartbroken Kid doesn't let her. Gonna throw this Earthquake, which will do quite a lot. Gonna shield it up, makes sense. And do you go? You know, I think you gotta let this go, right? It's just a Fire Punch? Okay. Fire Punch is gonna Fire Punch again. You can live this too. You can definitely live this. Okay, decides the shield. Was concerned about the Fire Blast, but I think at that health range, they're definitely looking for the double Fire Punch, which they do. Gonna get to this Earthquake. Ooh, I mean, you know, Earthquake still does a lot to cure him. This Stone Edge is gonna hit quite hard. Gonna come out with Dialga to Dragon Breath this down. This Groudon is going to have to Fire Blast this Dialga. Doesn't get to it in time. Wouldn't quite KO either. It is neutral. Iron Head is going to be enough to take it out. And that's a 2-2. Really well played for Heartbroken to come back in that game, especially starting off, you know, down a game. Showed a lot of resilience, and yeah, so a good day for Heartbroken Kid. Starting off strong with the 3-1 on Heater, going into a 2-2 in a difficult matchup with IncredibleAN. Both battlers, I think, playing that pretty well. And let's take a look at the schedule and see what we have next.